Okay, folks, now back to a little one today. So what I have on here is extra fine cotton canvas, and it's a 10 by 8, and I have masking tape around the edges. Right, so I'm just going to do a wee landscape, and we're going to draw a little landscape onto this with some spirits. And all of these here colours and spirits will be noted on the video. So let's see where we are now. Let me see. A wee mountain coming down along here. Another wee distant one along over here. And then a big tree. Just up and over. Okay, and it's coming. I'm going to have it coming all the way down to along here. Just a couple of branches, or trunks, sorry. And let me see, then a thing along here. Bumpity bump bump bum. And then a tree line along here. Okay, a bit of a tree here type of thing. And just thinking out loud, folks. Just thinking out loud. Bring that into here. And let me see another. Just to break it up, as it were. Okay, I want some water down in here. I always like to put a little bit of water in the piece, and then maybe another little bit of it up in here. Now, this isn't going to make much sense to you at the minute, but there it is. So I'm going to lay down with a lot of mixture of pretty thin mixture. I'm going to lay down some colors here. That's a thin mixture of color. This red and maybe a little bit of green in it, too much, and some spirits. Just along here, but thin it out a bit more. I just want that, and again, everything is subject to me coming along and changing it. Now, a little bit of darkness down in here, just along here, bumpity bum bum bum, a little bit darker still. Put a little bit of blue in it. You can get a nice cool shade in here. And let me see, along here, bumpity bum bum. Now I'm just going to draw on this canvas with this, just to thin it out a little bit. I don't want a thick mixture. I'm coming in, this is the background. Okay, just down in here. Nice and rough. Look at that. Look at the colours that creates. Lovely. That'll do. Now let's work on along the top here. So I'm going to work on this white up in here. And it's kind of a pinky orangey white. So lots of spirits. Because it's white, I'm going to put out a little bit of liquid here. I always like using liquid mixed with spirits. It helps it dry a little bit quicker. So just a little bit. I don't need a lot out. Okay. So Now this mixture that I see already, I know it's too dark, too colourful for my purposes. But because I'll be coming in at a way later date, whenever this is, and I'm going to be wiping a lot of this off too, by the way, folks. This is all getting wiped clean, so it is. Just in a moment, actually. In fact, right now. Yes, right now. Keeping that all nice and thin. Easier for me to come along and do stuff to it later. Okay, now let me just get a little flexible. This is a wee flexible flat brush here, and it is a Rosemary & Co. Shiraz Long Flat, size number 7. A wee bit of a distant mountain going on here. Let me see. That's nice. Okay. Just always remember to, again, you have to remember that this is just the background. This is just a background painting, or an underpainting, I should say. Sorry, folks. That's all. Okay, let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. All right, okay. Now you can see it already kind of coming together. You can see the you begin to start to see the shape of it. Want that wee hill here in the background a wee bit further on in the background. If you know what I mean, I'm sure you do. Now, I want a little bit of a saturated phthalo green in this distant one here. Oh, that's too much. That's too much. I'll lift up this orange here. And that's not quite there. A little bit more. Let me just see here. This is this line of trees along the back here, and I think this is too dark. But it'll be okay for now because, as I say, this is just a underpainting. It'll allow me to come in and lighten it up a little bit later. And this level of darkness will actually help create some of the highlights or the shadows in it. So just thinking ahead as well there, folks. Okay. No. So just again coming in, just messing it up a little bit. Creating edges, softer edges, harder edges and whatnot. Not being afraid of it at all, folks. Remember, this is the background layer, and it'll be a little bit tacky by the time I come back again and start to sharpen things up, adding details here. It's what I'm after. It's what I'm after. Right. So let me see now. I'll put in this slanty hill here. Now this is off into the distance. So let's see where we are. little bit of spirits, and I think it's not bad. It's not there. It's a bit better, I think. Up into there. Okay, just changing up a little bit of colors here and there, just to, oops, not that much though, just to help sell the idea that we're moving off into the distance here and there, and what have you. Little dark patches to create textures, and so on and so on. That's the point of what I'm doing here. Okay. Now, sometimes I have a tendency to use a little bit too much red in my greens. It's just the way that I lean at times. I don't know why, it is what it is. And it is what happens. Now let me see. Just sticking with the same brush here, folks. Let me see, let me just think. Okay. Just creating little shadowed areas. Okay. Just dancing this around, it creates randomness. And this, by the way, folks, is already set up. Well, not quite, but nearly, very nearly set up. And set up means that it's dry enough for me to come along and work on. It's set up for the next layer. It's kind of what it means. Just messing around with the dark of this tree here. That's all. Now, let me see. Okay, back to this again. Back to this green. See, I jump all over the palette. Sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it really isn't. Yeah, I like working all over the palette though. For me, it gives me a sense of progression, that I'm moving at least in the right direction. Doesn't always play out that way, of course, but it is the point of it. Let me see. I needed a bit more green than that. I think I'll add a little bit of ultramarine there. Just let me see here, and just coming up into here, just creating that sense of grasses down in here. Now, let me just have a little moment to myself and see where I want to put the waters here. I know I have already kind of created a spot for them, but everything is subject to change. Now let's just take a load of this off. Or not a load of it off, let's just create some textures in it. Now here's I'll show you another way to do this. So while I'm on this, look at this already, just messing the whole thing up with a line of texture. Let me see, is this brush yet? Right, okay. Dipping a little bit, this is just a brush. It can be any brush. This is one of those pastry brushes. Just dipping a little bit into it like so, and flicking it onto the palette. Now, I'm not sure if any is actually coming onto it, but we'll see. Maybe use a different brush. No, it is. It's going on to it a bit. Okay. Now what you'll see in a minute what this will do. Once I come in and start lifting it with the kitchen towel. Right, so let's see. A new piece of kitchen towel. Okay. See that already? It's already begun to work its way. Now this is just the lightest of touches. And then pull away. There we go. We have some textures. Now I am not taking the towel and rubbing across it. I am dabbing it on it. And the same here. And now I've created a lot of little textures. Okay. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to walk away for 10 minutes and let that dry. Let it set up. And it will be ready in a moment or two. So I'll see you shortly. I'll just hit the pause button. Okay, folks. Right, back to this. Now, I'm going to work on the sky here. So I'm going to have to put out a little bit of white. Let me see. Now, I've only been away for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes at the most. Just went in and watched the Graham Norton, or a bit of the Graham Norton interview. So I did, with Patrick Keelty. That's what I was doing there, just for the time being. Now this will blend with what's already up there, because it is still a bit wet, still a bit, well, wet. Just a little bit darker in this area here, just along the edge here. Now let me see, a little bit more blue, just using what's on the canvas here, folks. It's just sitting there, and it creates a little bit of harmony too. So just coming down in here. Okay. There we go. Just creating the edges in a very negative painting way, creating the edges of that tree. Okay. No. Just move a little bit out of the way there. Give me some more room. Now along here, a little bit of more of a pink. There we go. You see, it's creating the shape of this tree. And I'll be refining it a little bit later. But at least for now, I think that may do it. Maybe put on a little bit of too much. Too dark. Just a little bit of some fluffiness going on over here is all. Just not everything is all nicely smooth. Okay, so I'll have another moment here. Just pure white, basically. Well, not exactly pure, because I'm adding some liquid to it, but along here. And that will mix again a little bit better. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is a little bit, now because I'm on the white here, I want to make sure that this cloth, that this kitchen towel is clean, and I'm just going to work it in. I'm staying away from the darker areas to begin with, and then I'll work into the darker areas like so. And because I'm working into the darker areas, I'm going to stay away from the lighter areas. All right, okay. Now I'll just use the same again. Nice clean. All right. Now. So let's work on these distant mountains here. Right, so a nice greeny blue. Just keeping it keeping it grey, folks. That's a bit better. I want a nice grey distance on this one. It's got to be bright too, or brighter than what I have, I think. Let me see, maybe a bit brighter than that again, and a little bit more pink in it. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Just this here, right across here. Okay, a bit saturated. On this side here, I'm just going to dull that back a little bit. Now if you want to desaturate a green, you add a little bit of red to it. Just a touch. Right, okay. Now, let's work on that little blue one. Oops. Right. Nice grey blue. Now what greys out of blue? A bit of an orange greys out of blue. Yellow and red will grey out of blue. Far too dark. And too grey. I want it to be a blue, a definite blue. Now let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. It may be a touch darker. Just add a little, I'm going to add a little bit of black to it, just to darken it up a little bit. All right, okay. There are a few little spots in it. Just gonna leave it, let it be. It's okay for now. I think this area here could do with a slight lightening. So it can. Just along here. Coming up into this area up in here. Let it stretch up in the tip of this. All right, and I don't want such an edge there. I'm just going to take it off. There we go. Now, I'm going to work on the edges of this tree up and around here and get a nice orangey reddy color going on. Mostly, no, I'll get a red color going on, but I want a bit of a beat up brush And I'll probably end up messing it up a little bit with kitchen towel. So let me see, I'm just having a wee look for a beat up brush. Can't find one. You know, one of these tree things. No, don't fancy that. Right, now let me see, where are my brushes? What have I done with them? I tidied the area up the other day, and in order to get the things quicker, and it hasn't worked entirely that way. Anyway, found something. Nice bit of a messed up brush here. It's just a well used brush. Nothing special about it. Right, so let me see now where we are. Now, as I say, I will most likely, and I'm taking a lot off this brush, so I just want a little bit on it. I will most likely come in and beat this up with a bit of kitchen roll. Alright, there we go. Now there's nice edges, but I don't know, that looks okay to me for the time being. Alright. I will soften it a little bit with the kitchen roll. Just a touch, just being careful with it. There we go. Now we'll work on the darkness. A little bit of the darkness in this tree. There be darkness in the tree. Okay. Now, a little bit of, how can I tell you this? Swapping between liquid and spirits. I think the only way to explain that is experience is the only way you can determine which ones to use. But I will say that the main rule is if you're going to use white, use liquid, because it'll set it up for you a wee bit better, a wee bit quicker. Now, if you're just doing a background painting, you can just go ahead and use spirits with the white. But normally I come back the next day and I want it dry so I can do things with it. Now let me see here. So it's kind of the only way I can express it to you is just to tell you that those things is all. Anyway, I'm just talking nonsense to myself here. There now, just creating in some of those shadows within this tree area. And of course I'm going to hit it with a towel here. There we go. Now let's get some of the highlights into it, or the mid-tones would be a better way of putting it. A bit of a darker green here. But green nonetheless. A nice dark green. Let me see now. I think that's okay. It may be a bit bright, but we'll see. I already have good good coverage down for the darks there. So I'm just going to place these on in certain areas, and let me see. Just dabbing the tip of this in there. That's good. Now I'm down in here. Right, well, so far I'm liking this. And of course I'll be coming along with a brighter highlight on it whenever I see fit. Let's bring this out a little bit further. Bring this up a little bit further as well. There we go. Now, this yellow here, or sorry, this green here, I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. That will also help give this sense of a little bit of mist, a little bit of a chalky color on this here, and it's misty. See? Okay, now I don't want to come into the tree too much, but I certainly want dibs and dabs of it, just here and there. And of course I'm going to be hitting this with the kitchen towel. Right, let me see here. And this is just gentle. I'm not going to be messing around with it too much. Just a gentle dib and dab here and there. At least, there we go. Let me see. Okay. Now, time for a little bit of removal. Okay, just up in here. Just using a cotton bud for this job. Okay. And I'm just trying to create a space for a trunk to go in here. There we go. I'm going to put a trunk in. If I can find a little brush, as I say, I tidied up and I can't find anything. Right. Okay. Now a nice dark trunk here. And maybe highlight it a little bit later. But for now, just the trunk. And as you see the action I'm doing here, I'm just shaking my hand. Just to create, just so that it's not, what do you call it, like all homogeneous, all the same. You just want different edges here and there and here. Now a nice wee branch coming off the edge here. And another one across here. Just a bit of an idea. Now you can see that. You can definitely see the idea of that at the minute, so you can. So, another one there. And I think what I'll do is I'll change the brush over and I will create. I will do what? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I to do? Let me see. Right. I will use a little sword brush here to create some. Now I think this sword brush may be a wee bit racked. I'm not sure just as yet, but we'll see. I'll add a little bit of this to it and see if it holds its. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I hope. Let me see. I'm just coming up into here, adding a bit more spirits in it. Needs to be a good bit thinner than what I have down there. Yeah, it's too dark, so let's brighten that up a little bit. A little bit of red in it. Just a bit too dark is all. These sword brushes are brilliant for this type of thing. Okay, right, now I'm going to hit it again a little bit. I'm just going to be dabbing this. I don't want to ruin what I've done there, which I've just ruined it. So, gently. So it's still sitting there, and I'm going to put that one back in again. Okay, so. Oh, that actually worked out better. It's a nicer branch. What are those called? Happy little accidents? Okay. Now, while I have the brush here, I'm going to be adding in some of the skylights. Let me see. Not too keen on that at the minute, but not too unhappy about it either. It's okay. I will soften it all up. Okay. I just think I will just gently take the edges off that. There we go. Right. Now I want to come in again, a little bit in here. I want to cut into this a tiny little bit. I'm not too keen on the shape of the tree at the minute. So I'm just going to come in from this edge, and I'm going to use my brush. Let me see where we are just. Okay, that's a good match. Now, a little bit of liquid. Now I'm just going to spread the bristles on the palette so that they flare out. It'll give me a nice, it should give me a nice little in where, you see now, look at the shape of that, it's completely changed, and that has worked. And I'm going to do the same up on this side here. I know my arm's creating a shadow, but you can still see. Hopefully you can still see. There we go. Yes, completely changed the shape of that. So, what I'm doing here, I'm just going to soften it, just a touch. There we go, and there we go. Softening it up a little bit. Now, let me see, where to work. Now, I still have this tree line to work on, and I think I will actually do that now. Yes, I think I'll do that now. I want a small flat brush this time, or yeah, a smaller flat brush this time. Let me see what we'll have here. Okay. This is just a Daler Rowney short flat. Nothing special about this one. Right, so a nice green grey we have here. And I've already got the colours on the palette here. There's a bit of red in this grey, so there is. So I'm just going to pink it up and then add some white and see where we are. And I think that's too grey actually, I think. Alright, so I think maybe I'm getting it now. And all I need to do is create the tone, the proper tone. Oh, let me see. I'm having a bit of a trouble with this one. A little bit of green in it. Okay. Right there, that's a little bit better. So, yeah, that's a bit better. As I say, I'm just going to check this now. Oh, yeah. Nice and grey, off in the distance. There we go. Let's just create some shapes here. I want to put in some darks around the base of it. There's a larger tree sitting here, so I'm just going to ignore that spot for the time being. Adding just some variation in here. I don't really want you to see this, or well, I want you to see it, but I don't want you to be paying any attention to it. I just want your eyes to come in and around, and just have it following into the tree, and then you'll see that indirectly, as it were. Okay, off in the distance, and just gently softening on it. There we go. And I'll lighten I'll put the highlights in a little bit later. So for now, I'm going to just put in this tree here. All right. Now, get myself a nice green here. Grey, very grey green actually. Cool as well. Nice cool green, cool grey green. Right, so let me just create the overall shape of it. Okay. All right, and let's just lighten certain areas of it. Let me just see here, up along the tip here. Yeah, I'll come along whenever that has dried a bit. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just work on these ones here. Sometimes it's easy to get so carried away, to get so ahead of yourself. It really is, you know. And that was an instance of it there, when I knew that wasn't ready to add highlights to, because of the mediums I've been using. But I went ahead and tried it anyway. Still, no harm done. Okay. Let's just knock that back a little touch. There you go. I think I'm going to make that tree just a little bit bigger. It's getting lost along here. And just bring it over here a little bit. Well, a bit darker. Too dark. There we go. One of those big oak trees type of thing, you know. Okay. Now, I'll just let that set up a little bit, and I'll create The distant grasses here, just in here, this little field in here, just off in the distance. Now, I don't like the base of this tree. It's just too apparent. So it is. I'm just knocking that back, knocking it out of it a little bit. Right, okay, now that I'm there, let's create this slope. So a grey yellow. Got plenty of greys on this palette, so just using what is there. And because now yellow and red and oxide and stuff, they're all transparent colors. So I add a little bit of white, and not me, it's not like it's my trick or anything, but I add a little bit of white to make them a little bit more opaque so they can be seen better. They're not so transparent. Just dragging that over. And is it bright enough? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Just up in here, I think I want it a bit brighter. And I think that'll do it. There, I'm just going to wipe this off and then work that in. Let me see. Working with a camera, you have to continually readjust your position when you're working with it. Because normally I would just go in and have my big head in front of the thing there, but it's whenever you've got a camera, you have to consider the position of things. I'm not complaining about it, I'm just noting it. Right, now again I want to destroy the edge of that. It's too sharp. So it is. Too sharp. Just knocking that edge right back and creating some texture in the process. Excuse me. I might put a wee house in here. I'll tell you what, I'll set it up for it. So this is not set in stone, this wee house. So it isn't. Let me see, just in here, as if it's hidden in behind that hill there. I'm just going to, and it's caught in behind this tree. You see, nice big roof. Okay, at least for now, I'll just leave that there as an indication. Even that in and of itself, you know that that's a house. I don't need to mess around with these areas, but I will. Of course I will. I'll just do it now, actually. Because I do think that I like this, you know. So let me see, just here. As I say, it's disappearing in behind this hill here. And then disappearing in behind this tree. I'm going to rack the edge of this here a little bit. I'll just take that off with just so it's not mixing too much. I'll just take this off here. And I'll bring that tree in over it. If I can find there we go. There, now you see, put in a little house that is hidden by this tree here and by the hill. Oh, it gives you something. Now it has somewhat changed the composition, I must say, because now your eye will be drawn to it. So I think my original plan, I don't know, I need to think, I'm just thinking out loud. My original plan was to have you lead up into the tree, but you're going to almost automatically go straight to that house. So I'm a little bit unsure how to adjust this composition, readjust this composition to suit that. What I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do now. I'll have this come up in here and another little plane of water just here with a broken edge on it to point you towards the house. And there's nothing wrong. You'll have it coming up and you will see this automatically. Boom. Okay. All right, I'm happy with that. At least for now. Just there we go. Now a big fingerprint right in it there. So we don't be wanting my fingerprints. We don't be wanting my fingerprints. There we go. And I will darken some of the areas of that tree. In fact, I'll do it now. While it's in me brain. Let me see, is that darker? Is it dark enough? It may not be. A little bit, put a little blue, excuse me, put a little bit of blue in it. If I can pick it up, it's not picking up. A little bit of raw umber, but a lot of blue. Right, so let me see. I'll just create darker areas here. That is a bit better. Of course, I'll be really knocking this all back with what? Yes, you would be right, with the kitchen towel or towel. Kitchen towel. Right. Nice and dark in around this area here. Not entirely. And there still has a little bit more highlights to go into this. So let's slightly just ruin what I just done. There we go. That's well, when I say ruin what I just done, I mean I'm just taking the edges off it, softening it, making it blend in with it, but I don't want to destroy it. In fact, I'm going to finish the tree, or at least come close to finishing it. I do want a little bit more of a highlight in here. Let me see where we are. Is that bright? Nope, not even close to bright enough. That's a bit better. Yes, that's a bit better. And not too much. Very easy to come along and just destroy the work that you've done by adding too many highlights. Just here and there, just to emphasize a few things. And I think I'm going to stop there, and I'll have a wee look at it when it's dried and see if it needs some more. Nice. Okay. Right, nice rough tree. Now, what time is it? It's 11:30 for me. So I'm going to create a different plane here. Right. As we're moving forward here, a tiny bit more saturated. Going to use this phthalo green to note that little bit of extra saturation. And a little bit of blue there. Now, I like this here, so I'm going to keep it a little bit of it, just keep that divide a little bit. And that's far too dark, but I'm not going to Actually, I'll fix it rather than just mess around with it. Oh, too much. Let's just break into here. Now you see, you can still see the background all shining through that. It's working quite well, I must say. Oops, a bit too much, a bit too much. Let me see, just. Now, I want to take this edge here, right across here. So I'm going to use a different brush to do so. You see, I'm just using the flat of that brush. There, just to create that, and then, of course, let's ruin it. Let's mess up these edges. There we go. And I'm going to leave this completely. Just as a patch of grass, a little bit of a... Anyway, I'm talking to myself. I'm just looking at the thing overall, and I'm just getting a bit ahead of myself. I want to sort out in here a little bit. So I want a small dagger brush will do. Doesn't really matter. And I want it because we're being filtered through the tree. Now what I have here, see this area here is this color. This color and this tone. Now I'm just darkening it down a little bit. Darkening that just a touch because we're being filtered through the tree here. And anything that's being filtered is a darker tone. Obviously, there are huge exceptions to that. I mean, if you're being filtered through with a direct light, but overall, whenever it's just being ordinarily filtered, it will have a slightly darker tone. And it's just slightly darker. Okay, so let's see here now. In there, and there. And hopefully this creates the sensation of continuity, this line continuing on up there. That's the idea of what I'm doing here. And then I will add some more, let me see. See, it creates that continuity right across there. Lovely. That's done. Now I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to take a break. That would be the best thing for me to do. To take a little break. And I'll go and get something to eat. And I'll see us all. And then to finish this. See you soon enough. Bye for now. Okay folks, back to this one. Now I'm going to lighten this little area up along here. And then I want to work on this tree. Frankly, I don't like it. But it's easy fixed. It's an easy fix. Now, let me see, I think this is too bright. Well, I'll give it a go. I'm just glazing it on, not glazing it on, scumbling it on. Just dry this paint that's on here is already a little tacky, a little wet, so it will pull the paint off the brush. So I don't want too much on the brush. I just want to color this a little bit. Now, all that little dabbing and dibbing that I done earlier, it's all being left behind, and you can see that in here. That line there's a bit too prominent. Just slightly lightening that, just a bit. Just go as far as in here. Bring it up to the tree. Okay. That's, I'm happy with that. Or at least I think I am. Probably change my mind 10 minutes, but we'll see. Now, let me see, there are some artifacts on the video. I was told before what that is, but I can't remember, so I'm going to ignore it. Right, now, this back tree here, I want to fix this up. Really not very happy with it. But it's an easy fix, or at least I hope it's an easy fix. Bum-ba-da-bum-bum-bum. This is a very grey green here. Now I'm going to be coming in behind it to shape the edges of it. I think that's too bright. Actually, you know what? It's actually perfect. So it is. Now just breaking this tree up a little bit in here, just to reshape some of it. As I say, it wasn't appealing to me, the shape. And the edges are just a bit too sharp for me. With it being so far away, I really don't want that. I really don't want that hard edge. Too much, you know, and that's a bit too dark. So I'm doing the same down and around here. I'm going to re-establish this tree line here, and just trying to get the right tone. I've got the right color. I'm just building up to the right tone here. There we go. A wee bit darker at the base here. Just along here. Oh, okay. All right, now I want these to be somewhat obvious trees. Boom, 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 boom. A little bit of green in them. So I'll add a little bit of yellow to that blue that came in. That'll grey it out a touch. So let me see where we are here. Okay, now coming up, I'm just creating little round mounds up in here. And then I will highlight this. Okay. There we go. I got something off in the distance there. Right, just knocking it back a little bit, softening the edges just a touch. Now this main tree here, I want to I just want to make it a little bit more of a tree. Something along this line here. All right. Now the house here. Just a little bit brighter. Maybe a bit of a reddish roof. But a dull red because we're off in the distance. I want to try this, see how bright this is. And I'm only going to drag it across just a little bit. I just want to see first. We're just barely dragging that. Okay, now I'm going to use a dry brush here just to finish the shape of that. Down in there. There we go. Now hopefully you catch that that's a little house. I think it'd be hard to think of it as anything else. Yeah, I'm just thinking here of where I want things to be. Now, let myself a nice little small soft brush. A flat will do. A flat will do. And all I want to do now is add in some darks in and around the area here, just to help with it a bit. A little bit of red. And a tiny little bit of spirits just to liven it up a little bit, just loosen it up a little bit for me. Bit darker on, put a bit of blue in it. Now, I don't want to be covering this up. I like all this texture that's been left behind, so I'm only going to cover it up a bit in certain areas. Let me see. That is not so bad. A little bit brighter, maybe. A bit redder. Tiny little bit of spirit on it. It really does help loosen it up, help move it off the brush a bit. So I'm going to use the corner of this just to create the overall shape that I want. Now I want off the corner. Well, there we go. A bit brighter. Okay, let's see here now. Just here. Right, I'll tell you what. I need a smaller tip here, so I do. Let me see where we are. Okay, I'm leaving this on purpose because I want to cover this with a little bit of grass over the tip of it. But I'm going to use an old, what do you call those brushes? A bacon brush. This is for Let me just get this base of this covered. I just want to put the grasses in here with this. So, a little bit of phthalo green, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, a little bit of raw umber, a little bit of oxide red. I just want a dark green in for the time being. Tiniest bit of spirits there, folks. And let me see if this works now. There we go, look at that. Brilliant markers, brilliant for marking. Look at that, folks. Brilliant. Now, I put it in dark, so we'll let it set up a little bit, and then I'll put in a little bit of a highlight over the top of it. So I'm just going to do pretty much the same here. It's hard to see it because it's quite the same color actually, which is kind of what I was after. I just want the flick of grass here, so I do, and kind of, and no more, just the flick of it here, just up into the. Look at that. See that now? Look. Yep. Now, same again, only this time, where's the other one? Only this time I'm going to do it at the water's edge and a little bit darker. Not a little bit, a good bit darker. Now I might need a smaller brush for this, but we'll see. Just at the water's edge here. A little bit speckled here and there. Okay. Actually, I'll do a little bit more over here. Oh, and I will make that apparent. Oh, well, just in here. Okay. Oh, very good. Very good. So far, so good. Now, where's that other one? Okay, so let me just establish a bit of a thing. Let me see this here. Is that too bright? Boom, 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 boom. Is it too bright? I don't know. I need another go. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, it's okay. Yep, that's fine. Now I'm just going to knock the pan out of it a little bit, just rubbing the, I'll just dab it. And this just takes edges off and kind of mellows it into it, you know. You can see them over here, just taking the edges off things. I've got lots of texture in that. So now I'm in two minds as to whether I should put a rock in here. I think I will. And if I don't like it, I'll take it off. Right, so let me see. Now rocks have a nice purpley tone to them. Nice valid purple tone. But not red. Well, obviously red rocks do, but you know, just a rock in general. So let's see. Let's see what we have here. I'll just put this in along here. Nice straight edge here and coming down the back. And then I shall cover it with, I'll do another wee one over here, just so it doesn't look and feel so lonely. Let me see, another one just there. Bump, bump. And the base of this, so I'm not too concerned about the base of this will be covered with, what will it be covered with, folks? Grass, yes, that's the word. Grass is what I'm looking for. Okay. Now let me see. Just a second before I make any decisions. No, that's fine. Another one just there. Let me see now. How do I want to make that one appear? Just across there and down there. Nice and blocky. Oh, I'll flatten this brush out a bit. And there we go. Now, let's re-establish some of those grasses. Just there, oops, the greener side of things here. See the way that just covers that up? Does the work for you, as it were. Now, while I'm here, I might as well put on the highlights of this grass here. Wonderful, easy work, that one, so it is. All right. Now, just going to knock the edges off it a little bit. There we go. Right, let me just have a wee look at this myself and see where I am. I think the sky holes here could do with a little bit more definition. But not much, to be honest, you know. This needs cleaned off a little bit. Right. Bum, ba, boom, boom, boom. So let's see here. Now, I think that this might be a bit dark. Let me see. No, not really. It's fine. So it is. All right, now, same again. Just knock this back a fair bit as well, I think. Maybe put a little bit too much on. Let me see it. Yeah, okay, dead on. There we go, let me see. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now. Oh, I was going to say I was done there, but I still have the water to do. Oh dear. I left out a big chunk of it there. Anyway, let's see where we are. Right. Let me see. Needs to be a bit brighter. Just along here. And then up into here, maybe have it a little bit more colorful. Just along here. Now, I'm going to do a bit brighter. Just there. Now I'm going to drag a few reflections down into it. So let me see. Let me see here. Right, just here. Bump, bump, bump. Okay. Bump, bump. A wee bit more. There's not enough on the palette, so I'm just going to add a little bit more here. Tiniest bit of spirits there, just to help create the sense of it. Now I'm just going to drag down into it, and every time I do it I'm going to clean the brush, or if I do it this way I'm going to turn the brush over, do it that way, and then clean the brush. Okay, so here, down there, turn it over, down there, clean the brush, down there, clean the brush, clean the brush. Now dipping back into the thing again, back down again. Okay, a little bit more over here, and down. Just cleaning the brush, keep cleaning the brush as I'm doing this. And the reason being is that I don't want to contaminate this darker area, which I have slightly done there now, not following my own instruction. Anyway, there we go. At least for now. Now I do want to make the water a little bit brighter in certain areas, and I want to knock this back a bit. Just there, look at that. Making it, trying to keep it nice and rough. There we go. Nice soft reflection. Now. Back to. Again, here's another little beat up brush. Just a slightly smaller than those ones, just for closer work here. Well, let me see. There we go. All right. Okay, now slightly darker area here. Let me just create that again. Okay, a little bit of oxide red, tiniest bit of spirits to loosen it up, comes off the brush a wee bit better, and then just place it in here. Lots of little flicks and ticks is what it'll do, but it'll help darken the area as well. So it will. All right, and let me see. Right, so again, let's get this. Gently I'm just pushing on it. I'm not smearing or rubbing. It's an important distinction. Okay, now let me see. What am I not happy with? I'm not entirely over the moon with this this back mountain here. I think I'm being fussy, but I think it's just a little bit too dark. And I won't mess around with it too much, because I do kind of like it. I'm okay with it to some degree, but I kind of just want to brighten it up a bit, and that's not going to do the job because it's the same color. It's the same tone even. There we go. Let's see, is this the same tone? Slightly brighter, just slightly. And just leave it in around the tree. There we go. I don't know why, but to me it seems a little bit further away, a little bit brighter. Now I just want to add a little bit of white to this to the water here, and I don't think I have it on my brush. Let me see. It's not as white as I would want it to be, but I'm okay with that. You know, it is a fair bit brighter. So let me see if I can just blend the edges here without ruining anything. There we go. Good. Okay, now I think the rocks could do with the rock faces could do with a tiniest bit brighter. So it does. Just a little bit of a silvery, just along here, a little bit of a highlight there, one there and there and there, and just there now. All right, now let me me see. Right, am I done with this? Am I done with this? I think what I will do, no, I'm not done with it. I need to highlight this area and I need to bring the grasses up into here. So I does, that's what needs doing. So let's see here. Get me some yellow. All right, tiniest bit of green here. Just taking it from the surrounding area. Okay. And a little bit of liquid, just really loosen that up. Now this here will be silhouetted, so we'll be putting a slightly darker one in there. Slightly just. But I want to make sure that I'm getting these areas here done for myself. Okay, I'm not sure yet, but no, I am now. That's good. Happy with that. All right. Now just bringing it down to the darker areas here. Just there we go. Then softening the edges. All right. Now this one. Do I have a small enough brush to do that job? There's one. There is. I think it's one. No, it's not. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Right, just a wee, again, another wee beat up brush. Just bracking the edges of it here. Now, as I say, it's going to be slightly darker than what's there because it's silhouetted against the bright water. Now, the water is quite wet. Well, it is, isn't it? But you know what I mean. Anyway, or else, yeah. Well, anyway, right. So let me see here. It's a bit too dark, Just bringing that up into it there. Just smudging those edges, smudging those lines. Okay, so let's see. That's all right. That actually turned out not so bad there at all. Just a wee bit of coloration in it here. All right, okay. You just drag the odd one up a little bit. To give the impression of grasses. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little walk back and see where I am with it. Right, so let's see here. Bumpity boop boop bop bop boom. Because I'm not sure that I'm done with it. Okay. Right, okay. At the minute I feel like I'm done with it, so I'm going to take the tape off. Now look at, just remember that little wipe off tactic, and like flicking the spirits at it, loosens it up, and then giving it a second to settle into it, and then we're taking it off. Right, at least for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape off and say that it's done, but I'll probably come back to it a little bit. Okay, so if you could, folks, please like and subscribe, and maybe watch a few of the videos to the end if possible, and share as well, tell people about it. Maybe anybody you think might be interested. And whenever you're going out shopping, Stick one on in the background. It all helps the algorithm. And I'll hopefully see you all again soon enough. And I think that's finished. Right, folks. And just straighten that up a little bit. Right, folks. Bye for now.